Hello everyone, today I'm going to be doing a video on how I process my photos. Today I'm just going to be doing a Whirlpool Galaxy. I've already finished the photos, this is the final product. Pretty happy with it, tried a few new things, and yeah. So first thing you want to do is you want to stack your data. You can do this with a lot of softwares. I use Pixinsight, probably the most popular software for image editing in astrophotography. Deep Sky Stacker is also a good one that's for free if you want to use that one. Pixinsight is not free. You can always buy it. I'm not sure if they have free trial. Anyway, I already have all my master stuff in here, and I kind of, you add our master bytes, darks, flats, into this sections. Doesn't have to be the masters; they can just be the raw data too. Make masters, and then you take your lights. These are all my masters that downloads, but you take your lights, which is on a different drive, external drive right now. So yeah. Anyway, after you get your lights in here, you can mess around the calibration, but for the most part, there's not much you should probably do. There is an option to optimize dark. That's probably a good one to choose. I put these keywords in here because I was doing a mosaic. Anyway, then you just hit run, and of course it's not going to do anything since no light frames are in there. But I found, Pixinsight's the best software for any kind of stacking. It's just really nice in terms of gradients and stuff. Now I'm gonna go here, try and guess which one it is. I stacked a lot of photos today because I was just trying to see something. Master light, yeah, I think this is this guy. So they have an auto crop, which, as you can see right here, is that. And I using the auto crop version because it just makes it so that I don't really have to worry about cropping it. Because at least for this one, I did it on multiple nights, so that's why it's such a big crop. For the most part, it won't be that much unless you have a lot of tracking's not the best. So first thing that I do always is I take the TIFF EXIF file. It's always gonna be the green blur, and the way to make that it's like an actual photo is you do channel extraction. This is a red channel. So we get from that to this, pretty much, and it will get there. Anyway, what we're doing now is we have to open up channel extraction, statistics, channel combination right here, and you just want to do the statistics. So you want to look at is the median, and this actually looks a lot off. Oh, that's why, because I was using on already the final version. So we want to find this guy, the one that hasn't been edited yet. So the median right here. So yeah, the low median. You want to find the lowest one, which is pretty much almost always red. I use a color camera, a one-shot color camera. So that might just be particular to that. Sometimes it changes. But yeah, you always want to find the lowest median, and then you take linear fit. And what this does is just makes it so that they're all equal, or about equal, the medians. So that green, which green is almost always the highest one, it doesn't come through a lot, and you can see it changes it. And yeah, I'm just gonna go through. Now you go to channel combination. You can combine all the things. You click on this and that. You can close linear fit and you're done with it, and you hit the circle button to get to the fitted photo, and it looks like this. So this still looks kind of like, whoa, not too hot, but next thing I like doing is closing all these because it's kind of scattered. You're not going to have these anymore. Is I like going and doing color calibration. Photometric color calibration is the best. Best thing about this is if you stack with Pixinsight, it gives it a astronomical solution, like a valid one, which makes it so that this thing can work. This is probably the best color calibration. There's also scripts like autocolor, but autocolor is not always accurate to what the colors actually should be. And you can always use stuffing like, just regular color calibration is also pretty easy. But this one's also super easy. If you stacked with Pixinsight, you could literally just do that, and then boom, you just wait, and it'll do its thing. It gives you little graphs, tells you kind of what it did. But unless you're really interested, it doesn't really matter. So you can see it's just changed the colors, made them more, okay, you can't really see the difference, but you can kind of see the difference, more blue, more, as all the star colors now natural. And then after this, I always crop. I don't think I calibrated, I did calibrate, I'm not sure what this is here. I don't think I calibrated flats with this photo. I forget why. I just don't think I had time, but I mean, it still came out decent. I was kind of lazy, but usually flats will get rid of this kind of outline thing. But yeah, anyway, you need flats, so don't do what I did. Take your flats. But next thing I do is I go to geometry, dynamic crop, and then I crop the photo. You crop the photo however you want, you know. Today I'm just gonna crop it. I want to keep some of these. I think for now I'm just gonna do it just for the actual galaxy. So my original photo, I kept all of these other galaxies because I mean they looked interesting. There's a lot of them. This time I'm not gonna keep them. So after that, you can just use them to fit. And yeah, so that's your cropped photo. You can crop it, like I said, however you want. Next thing I like doing is just dynamic background extraction. Now what I usually do for tolerance is just 1.5. You can change it however you want. Since this one's a small, more cropped, I'll do like 15. I usually do 25 for the sample radius, and then I usually do like 8 or 7 per row. And it'll just give you this. And basically what this does is it just takes out the background and like this weird gradient. So you see how it's like green, purple, all these weird stuff, and it kind of just takes it out. So for the most part, you don't want it to be like on any of the nebulosity. You can kind of see where there's a lot of nebulosity right here. You don't want it to be on that because then it'll take away from the actual thing. So something like this is really useful in galaxy photos, but if you're doing, let's say, like the Orion Nebula, like close up, it's a lot more difficult to get a good DPE because it'll just take away from the actual nebula. So that's what the tolerance factor's for. You can up the tolerance so it can take out less, lower it. I found 1.5 is kind of like a median spot, because if you do it too low, then it'll just be too aggressive. And you just want to go here, subtraction, and you just let it go. Now that we did that, we see the background that it took out, and we'll see the difference right now. So as you can see, let me close that. As you can see, it's a lot different. No more what's it called? No more that weird gradient. It's now like a nice flat background. So I'm done with this. I can put this over here. And yeah. So now that we have this, what I'm gonna do is go to color calibration, background neutralization. Another way you can get to all process is just process all process, and you can just find them here. But you click this little button up here, it makes it so you can do a preview. Okay, I remember that. And you want to do it on a part of space that doesn't have any stars. It's just the background. And what I like doing is I pair it with the SCNR, which is a tool used to take away certain colors, and mainly just green, because green in space is not natural for the most part, except for maybe like comets and like some nebula. But for the most part, green is not a color that you want in space. So I do is I keep it at 50, so it's not too aggressive, and you hit, you know, that, so it just neutralizes it, as you can see, neutralized. And then you just hit SCNR, which takes away the green, and then I do this twice. So I did that one more time, and then on the third time hitting SCNR, I just do 25. And what I'd notice is, as you can see, that the background's like darker, and it just gets rid of that green really nice and well. It's not too much, so it just looks like blue and red, like purple, or yeah, but it's enough so it does make a difference. And once we're done with that, it's my favorite part. So I use two things. The biggest tools I use are Blur Exterminator, which I highly recommend you get. You can buy it, get a free. You can get a trial for it for 30 days, just to test it out. But yeah, that, and also I also use Noise Exterminator. Both super great tools. You should 100% get them. I recommend them 100%. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is, if you don't have these tools right now, like I said, you can always just use your email. You can get a free trial for, I think it's a month, and you try them out too. But you can also use for Blur Exterminator just the regular deconvolution tool, which I'll go through really quick on how I kind of use it. Is you make a luminance mask, which you hit this little button in the top corner. Make a luminance mask. Of course, you have to use this after you stretch the photo, or else the luminance mask will just look like nothing, because right now the photo is still linear. It's not stretched yet. But you make a luminance mask. You do this towards the end usually for like star reduction and stuff like that. It also makes it more sharp. And you make a star mask. And actually, I'm not gonna make a star mask right now, but these are the settings I usually use for star mask. If you just want to get that right now, is this. I got this from another video I've seen when I first started out. These settings usually work very well. I want to leave this here actually, since I'm going to use that later. But you make a star mask, you hit de-ringing, local de-ringing, and then you put the star mask in here. And then after you have the luminance mask on the actual photo, and then you just, you know, hit the little square button so it actually goes. And that's kind of how you do deconvolution if you don't have Blur Exterminator. And there's a bunch of tools to use, but for right now I'm just gonna use Blur Exterminator. So if you have Blur Exterminator and you got that free trial, or you just own it, there's a really good tool, PSFI image, and what this does is it gives you the value to put into the thing. And okay, I think it might have what's it called? Let me see actually. Let me make sure that, because usually it does not go that fast, but I guess it went that fast this time, because I did edit this photo earlier today, so I'm not sure why it went so. Anyway, it gives you the data. I usually use this number. I'm really not sure what the difference between these two are. I know that they kind of both work. So 3.4, you go into Blur Exterminator, go PSF diameter is 3.4. You can always do automate if you don't have it, but the script's free. You just have to find it online. Right now I'm just gonna do like 80. I'm not gonna do too much, and I always start on 25 for sharpen stars. I don't recommend using the just halo. I do recommend doing correct first. I noticed it does help, for me at least. And then you just kind of let it do its thing. So once you get that value, you plug it in there. You can adjust the sharpen however you want. And yeah, I'm not sure why Blur Exterminator closed there, but we can wait. It's now just going to do its thing. So basically what it's doing is it's going to make the stars sharpener, smaller stars, and also make just the actual, what's it called, galaxy itself sharper. The cool thing about this is you don't need any masks or anything to make sure it sharpens the right stuff. It always does a pretty good job at that, as long as you have the correct PSF number in. And yeah, I'm just gonna wait. This image is not very high resolution. This is maybe like 2000 by 2000 or something like that. Not that much, because or maybe probably more actually, like 2 by 3000 or something like that. Not that much for resolution. So the higher the resolution, the more time it takes to do this process. You could always, if you want to just kind of see what it'll look like with different settings, you want to test it out, I recommend just doing a preview box and only applying it to the preview box, so it goes a lot faster, and you can just kind of tweak it there before you do it like to the whole photo. Of course, if you don't like it, just go back on it. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait now. It finished. Anyway, so this is kind of, you can kind of tell what it did. So you have that difference. You can definitely see stars are smaller, there's more detail, and yeah, next thing I like doing is doing it one more time. I do double deconvolution, but I always lower it to about 15, and I'm gonna lower this to like 20, so just slightly more. Yeah, this is such a great tool for sharpening. For the most part, this is like pretty much all the sharpening I do. This has probably taken like another hour off my processing. So like I said, these tools are super useful, and you'll see noise exterminator why it's so useful. And also, just kind of looking at it, slightly more adjusted. Stars are slightly smaller, and I'm liking it now. So just to give it a perspective, that's what I was looking before, after. It's definitely a big difference. Anyway, so now we're done with that. We want to go to noise exterminator. Now noise exterminator, I'm not going to be too aggressive on it since there is a lot of noise, but then again, it's a galaxy photo, so we're going to be stretching it a different way. And let's do like 80. See what that does. I usually keep the detail on 15 because I don't like messing with it, because it's like another kind of deconvolution, basically, where it kind of just makes it more detailed. But it usually looks kind of funny, so I just keep it on the default 15. You can play with it if you really want to. I don't recommend doing over 90 for the denoise, because it's just too much noise. Like this might be too much denoise. Maybe not. So you want a little bit of pixels, but not too many pixels. And I'll tell you how to get rid of that weird fuzzy background. That's just from light pollution. I'm in Bortle 7 right now, so it's not the kindest to me. Okay, you see the good thing about this is it doesn't denoise the actual galaxy itself for the most part. That's really good at only doing stuff around it. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stick with 80. Let's do like, I'm gonna do a little more than 80. Let's do like 84. 82. Just a little bit more denoise. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait for it to do its thing. This takes a lot less time. Anyway, so we're done. I think that looks pretty good for the denoise portion. So just trying to make sure it looks good. You lose a little bit of detail, but it's really not that much. Anyway, so now we're done denoising it. Here comes the fun part. Stretching the photo. Now, you can use a lot of things. I mainly use screen transfer function. I'll show you that really quick. But for today, I'm going to show you something new, actually, which I did with my other photo, which I found that worked really well. Screen transfer is super simple. Go here, hit the nuclear icon, and bam, you're done. No, I'm joking. And then you just kind of adjust it however you want. Like, I just want that. Like, oh, that looks good. Then we go, then we drag this little icon to the histogram transformation, and then you grab that and drop it on here, and then you hit the little red thing on top of here to stop the auto stretch, and then you got your actual stretched photo. But that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to use something called generalized hyperbolic stretch. It's a script. I think it should be free, or I don't know if it already came with Pixinsight, but I mean, I have it and I don't remember paying for it. But yeah, so you just if you get this script, this one's a really fun one to use. I noticed it works pretty well. So you want to go the target preview right here, and then you just kind of mess with it until you like it, you know, however you want to do it. Now I did notice that this works really well at getting that core detail without having to use like HDR, multi-scale transform, or stuff like that, you know. Okay, so we can always zoom in, which I'm going to do right now, and we can just kind of play with it till we kind of like what we're looking at. Okay. Now I'm gonna let's reset the zoom. I just want to see, because I want to get that background dark, you know. So like I said, you just kind of play with it however much you want to till it gets to the kind of the point that you enjoy, like it. I don't remember the exact stuff that I use, you know. Okay, that's oh, it's kind of going all over the place. And I think that looks pretty good. So you want to keep the background not super dark when you stretch it, because That's the final thing I do. It's just use histogram transformation, kind of make it dark. I mean, you can always do it here too, but I feel like clipping data before you fully edit the photo doesn't actually help. So I don't recommend you use histogram transformations and change the histogram at all, other than just here when you're stretching the photo until you're done editing the photo. Because like I said, you don't want to clip any pixels until you're done editing the photos, because you want to use all the stuff you can possibly use to actually edit the photo. Make sure this is back to where it was, and you can't decide right now. 5. Let's do 5. Meet in the middle. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Of course, it might not be perfect. No, I don't want to say the log. But yeah, now we have our photo. Of course, a little pixelated, you know. My scope 714 millimeters. Not too big. Definitely more for like nebula, I would say. But yeah, so now we have this photo. It's a stretched photo. A lot of people, if you really want to, you can just go, be lazy. Let's just up the saturation, be done with it. Boom, we have our photo. But, or not like that. That's too much. Just up the saturation. Boom, we have our photo. But, no, I don't. Next thing I like doing is actually making a mask. So we go to range selection. And go to range selection, and I'm going to make a mask. So you want to just get the nebulosity, pretty much. I keep saying nebulosity, but you just want to get the galaxy. And I want to get that tail too. Looks good. 1, 2, 3. And make the smoothness. You want it to be smooth, but not too smooth. Like, I think 3 is usually like a pretty good one for smoothness. That looks pretty good. That might be a little too smooth, but screw it, right? Anyway, so you put on this mask so you can kind of see what it did. Pretty much just kept just the galaxy and surrounding stuff, and all the backgrounds all blurred out. So you go to masks and show mask, so you can just make the mask not be shown. Makes it go away. So you want to keep the mask on. When a mask is on, it'll always be orange in the top corner of the on the identifier. It'll always be orange. So just so you know, like when a mask is actually on, what I usually do is I used to do HDR multi-scale transform, which is a good tool, but I don't use that anymore. You can play around if you really want to. But I use local histogram equalization. There's another tool to get more sharpness. I usually do 1.5, and it's like go down to like low. Cool thing about previews is a circle button right here. If you hit it, it'll show it without and then with, or you can just kind of like grab the thing, drop it. But yeah, I'm just gonna do a little bit of this, not too much. And yeah, so I think 2. So this is all personal preference. I've definitely seen some people go kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. And yeah, but I feel like that's the biggest mistake that people who are new to editing do, is they over edit, if one could say, the photo. You don't want to make it too grainy, because then it just won't look really natural. You want to get that nice flow. So I think I'm just going to do like, I'm just trying to do like a slightly low. I think 1.7. I like 1.7. Okay, so now we did that. We hit the little square button, and yeah, we can look up close, of course. See the little difference it did. Just make the galaxy a little bit brighter. And after this, I like doing star reduction. So, I mean, depending on the photo, I might, just do a lot of different things. For the most part, if I'm just trying to like edit it, do that. You know, like I said, HDR multiple scale transforms, good tool. Something quick, kind of see what it does really quick. I'll show you. Keep that mask on. I mean, of course, it doesn't look too good. You can always mess with the settings right now. I would never keep this, but you can kind of see what it does. Makes it all bright, nice and bright. But like I said, I'm not gonna do that right now. But yeah, I'm gonna remove the mask, and then we're gonna actually make a star mask. Which brings me to this point. So if you use the settings, they work pretty well. All these guys, 2.5 noise threshold, scale 6, compensation 1, large and small 0, smoothness 12, and binarize, and you hit apply. You get a pretty nice star mask. And for the most part, it works pretty well. I mean, it's not perfect, but like I said, it works decently, I guess. Anyway, what I like doing now is I apply the star mask, and I go to curve transformations and intensity transformations, and I go to lightness, which will be the default one it gets on, and I just bring the slider like here. It's like here. You can kind of see how it makes the stars bright, dim, bright. So you want to just lower the brightness just a teeny tiny bit and apply that. It's very, very difficult to notice, but let's zoom in on this guy. See the little tiny difference it did? That little tiny difference kind of adds up in the end. Anyway, next thing I'm going to go do is I'm going to be using a process called morphological transformations. This is really good tool for just making the stars smaller or just making them go away. You go morphological selection, do 40. I usually do 40. And do it like once or twice. Works really fast, as you can see. Just makes the stars really dim. Dims them down. It's hard to notice them. Some people like using this tool. Some people are like, I don't know, because it makes the stars smaller. I usually use it twice, but might only use it once now. Yeah, I'm only going to use it once for this guy, I think. Yeah, I'm only going to use it once. Sometimes use it once, twice, 3 times even. However many times you want to do it. It's of the preference, of course. I'm only going to use it once. So once we're done with that, it's our star reduction pretty much for the most part. And then I like to go and do saturation and curves transformation. So this one's pretty simple. I should have kept it open. Keep curves transformation open. Go here. And you just kind of want to mess with it. What I like doing is I just go slightly to the side. Just want to mess with it a little bit. See the difference. Hit apply. Kind of makes the background darker, nice and dark. And as you can see how I didn't do too much noise reduction, but I can't even barely notice the noise here because it's just nice flat black background. The next thing I want to do is saturation. So you get a luminance mask, just like I did before when I showed you how to do the other one. Make a luminance mask by hitting that one button, apply it, and then you hit saturation. I do chrominance first and saturation. Which usually I just do like, click on that one, top corner, right here, and then, yeah, and then you kind of just saturate it however you want, just move these sliders however you want, kind of just edit it however you want, but yeah, I think that's pretty good. Maybe a little more saturation. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, that's good. Okay then. Anyway, that's saturation done. And one thing you might notice is the background's now saturated. Like, oh my gosh, background saturated. That's never good. It's all about preference for the saturation part. Anyway, now the background's saturated. What do? You take that range mask that you had, take it here, throw it on there, invert it, right? Going in mask, hit invert mask, go to intensity transformations. I don't know why I keep closing this, it's just a habit. And then you just grab the slider and we go way down like that, super fast. Okay, maybe not that fast, but you bring it down. So now there's no more background saturation. So if you look really closely, you can see how it went from like a bluish, it's gone. It's really hard to notice, but it kind of irks me because it's there, so I just want to get rid of it, and that's kind of how you just get rid of it. And as you'll notice, it doesn't do anything to the actual galaxy because you have the mask protecting it by inverting it. And then at this point, you're pretty much done. Pretty much all you need to do is, I'm going to take off the mask, is go to histogram transformation and just histogram. So you want to go into the selected view, should be the photo you're editing, so that guy. And then I just grab the slider, slightly move it, and then yeah, looks pretty good. I like that. So that looks pretty good. And that's our photo. Now, okay, let's not do that. Now, which one looks better? I don't know. And they're both pretty good. I feel like this one has more saturation. I don't know. Like I said, they're pretty similar photos. That one's more wide field. This one's also a different orientation. So let me actually fix that though. So it's not the right orientation, just the different orientation. I kind of like this one better. I don't know. It's all the preference, like I said. Both decent edits, but you can kind of guess. That's pretty much how you edit it, or how I edit my photos of the one-shot color photos. Pretty happy with the result. But yeah, that's how you edit photos in Pixinsight. It's pretty simple. I mean, like I said, there's a ton of processes in here, so you can play with like all of them. But for the most part, you only need a couple to get a decent photo out of it. And if you have good data, you get a good photo. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to do. If you want to save it, just go File, Save As, and save it as whatever you want. But yeah, that's pretty much my photo. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.